evening, welcome to UPFront. Tonight, we'll put a spotlight on the decision of the NDC, more importantly, former President John Mahama to retain his 2020 running mate, and also go along with what has been not so much of the tradition within the NDC. Choosing running mates has been something that's occasionally changed. He himself became running mate after 2 attempts, but he's decided to go into this year's election with Professor Naana Opoku Agyemang. We'll explore that decision. We'll also put it under the proper lenses to see whether it's the very best of decisions, mindful of the kind of elections that's going to happen this year. Beyond that, my guest was a deputy minister to the now chosen, retained Professor Naana Opoku Agyemang. I'm sure by now you know who I'm talking about. But last year, he did the prophecy and said Prof was going to be retained. It's part of the list of things he issued. I'm not sure whether he had the inclination to what was going to happen or it was pure prophecy. The Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, that member of parliament many said was the best for the period. The member of parliament who is now commissioning projects that have not started, projects that have become an albatross on all of us. I'm talking about the National Cathedral, which he did just yesterday. The member of parliament who is doing more than just that, getting the president to speak about the condition in his constituency, is the Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. You're welcome once again.
Very much, Raymond. How are you doing? Good to see you.
I'm doing well. It's always wonderful to have you here with me.
Thank you.
I mean, but of course, we must acknowledge that something terrible happened earlier today. The news of the passing of your colleague, the member of parliament for Owusu, and also a deputy minister in the Ministry of Finance, the Honorable John Kuma, certainly must hate you in parliament in a very different way. How did you take the news?
Good evening to you, Raymond. Good evening to all our viewers. I have to be honest with you that I am still in shock. I just can't believe that the Honorable John Kuma, who I have known for many, many years, we were student activists together right from secondary school. So in Presec, I was trustee of the Greater Accra Regional Students Representative Council, and he was also a leader from the Ashanti Regional Students Representative Council. And so we used to meet at secondary school student activists, gatherings. So I've known him since 1995, 96. So I've known him for many, many years. And we did student politics together at the University of Ghana, and then at the NUCS level. He came close to winning the SRC presidency at the University of Ghana. He lost narrowly. I later became the president of the National Union of Ghana Students. So our paths have always crossed. And then we met in Parliament. And I was happy for him when he was elevated to become a deputy minister for finance. Really, really, really shocking. I didn't see this coming. I had heard he was unwell. But, I mean, with all this stress and the hustle and bustle, when it comes to public office, particularly combining your parliamentary seat and ministerial job, it takes a toll on you. So I just thought that is one of those, stress-related conditions, and that he will be back to join us soon. It didn't, ever occur to me that it will be anything serious. I'm told that he was flown out earlier than he was on the mend, came back briefly only for this to happen. So my condolences to his immediate family, his wife, who I know is a very vibrant pastor, and the children, his extended family, his constituents, the good people of Ejiso, and the MPP fraternity, and certainly the Ministry of Finance, and then Parliament, where we all belong. Really, really tragic day. And I mean, the sad thing is that this very day, we were paying tribute to a number of MPs who had passed not too long after losing their seats. And many MPs on the floor raised concern about the conditions of members of parliament when they leave office. I mean, the rate of deterioration and how it becomes even difficult to be employed, to get jobs after, because of how, extremely adversarial our partisan politics has become. And there are many, many useful contributions on the floor, only for this to hit us. So it's a really, really sad day, and we are all devastated. I can only pray that the good Lord will grant his soul peaceful repose.
Certainly, and I don't know, but has Parliament planned anything yet? Or visiting the family, having us a house to pay tribute on your own? And I mean, it might sound like early days yet, but is there anything like that in the offing?
Yeah, there are protocols. We will definitely have a day of tribute where we will honor his memory. We will definitely also attend the 1 week. The Ashantis. Yeah. The Ashantis do 1 week, so we will certainly be there, and then we'll wait for the family to announce the funeral arrangements, and Parliament will be duly represented. And I'm sure that across the political divide, we will all go and pay our last respects to the Honorable John Kuma's memory. It's I mean, a young man in his prime. There are many predictions about how far he could go, and all of that. And he was quite talented.
And not long ago,
quite talented.
The conversations about who becomes running mate to Dr. Bawumia, his name popped up not long ago.
That's true. So it's
terrible.
It's a big blow. Yeah.
Now, it's not been all doom and gloom today. You said last year, I don't know what you knew that you actually made that beginning of the year, you listed a couple of things you knew were going to happen. And that included the fact that Professor Naana Opoku Agyemang was likely to be retained as running mate to President John Mahama. How did you get to know that? Had the decision been made at the time? Were you in the known ahead of time, or you were just guessing?
Well, I would say that in this political game, as we all grow and as we become accustomed to the nuances, you can see signs and you can predict quite safely, and that's all I did. And I was also particularly impressed with the work rate of my very adorable, hardworking, and affable boss, Professor Naana Opoku Agyemang. Let me congratulate her on her nomination, which has been overwhelmingly endorsed today by the Council of Elders and the National Executive Committee of the party. You look at her track record, how she delivered at the Ministry of Education, how when she became running mate in the 2020 election, her region, central region, I mean, we moved from 4 seats to 13 seats. We halved the presidential votes. And then if you also look at the fact that for the first time in our country's history, you have a political party in opposition increasing the number of seats to the extent that we have a hung parliament as we speak, 137, 137. It's never happened. If you look at the trends,
but every
president going into a second term increases the number of seats. The opposition reduces the number of seats. If you check particularly 2004, you look at 2012. But this is the first time that you've seen a formidable pair in the John and Jane ticket doing so well. So I really was under no doubt at all that the party was going to retain His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and in that same spirit, the running mate will also be retained because the pair had done so well. They had, set new records. They had really performed incredibly well, that there was no doubt in my mind that if we retained the pair, it will be, a safe pair of hands for our party. It will be such a formidable force, and that the next election, December 7, 2024, will be ours for the taking. And,
really?
and I'm very, very confident that this is the victory team. This is a team that will deliver the the rescue that many Ghanaians are looking for from the claws of, the Akufo-Addo Bawumia regime, which has been such an abysmal performance. It's been a disastrous performance. It's been a calamitous performance. It's been a very, terrible performance, which has brought untold hardship. For the first time, we are talking about insolvency. We are talking about the country becoming bankrupt. We are seeing Moody's, Fitch, Standard & Poor's downgrade us to junk status. Never happened in our history. We're seeing for the first time people are forced to take financial haircuts. A domestic debt exchange program. Things that have never happened before. Unemployment is at an all-time high, 14.7%. Who would have thought that Ghana, which used to be a shining example, a country that has never defaulted on its debt, that became the poster child of even the Bretton Woods, that other countries were asked to look up to us in terms of how the economy is managed, how we are, credible when it comes to, our indebtedness, how we have never, exceeded over 100% in terms of debt to GDP ratio, how we've had largely a stable economy. All of that have become history. So we need a team that have experience, that have pedigree, that have gravitas, that can, send us to the promised land. And that's where the John and Jane ticket comes in. And I'm really, really excited today. And you can tell that the rank and file of our party really, overjoyed really by this selection. And I'm not surprised that so far there has been no resistance from the Council of Elders, from the National Executive Committee. I'm told that things went very, very smoothly. And I can only commend His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for this really fantastic choice. This is really the choice that delivers the victory that the Ghanaian people are yearning for the NDC. But
a group calling itself concerned, the NDC members also had said this will be a poor decision if it's taken. They believe that she didn't have any constituency and they didn't contribute much. You attribute the parliamentary success in the central region to her some way, somehow. But the counter-argument has been that there is no visible impact of Prof in any known constituency in the central region. And no member of parliament came out to say that, but for Prof, I would have lost my seat.
Then you are not talking to the MPs from the central region. Go talk to them, interview them.
Oh, which specific one?
Her constituency, we all know, is where the Honorable Samuel Atta-Mills is MP, the Commander constituency. And she's very popular there. I've been there with her on many occasions.
Really?
She was very well received. The chiefs, she has the highest, award from the chiefs in that constituency. And if you talk to the Honorable Atuforsen, who, leads the caucus, and you talk to the Honorable Quinsta Pokia Sawyer, all of them are really, really excited about her leadership, skills, how she rallied the region, brought them together. And she was always in the central region. There is no central region constituency she didn't visit more than twice. We are used to the very bombastic politicians, who are always, issuing punchlines, hitting the headlines, who want to be seen, who are engaging in a lot of, bravado. She is not your typical politician. She's not cast in that mode. She is very self-effacing, very reserved. She likes to just be in the background and get the job done. She always says that, look, Sam, let the results speak. The results will vindicate me. And that's how, because she is not one to really even advertise her strategy and to let people know what she's doing. She just believes that, look, let's follow strategy. Let's have our game plan. Let's know what the objectives are, and let's deliver in perfection. And for those who have worked with her and who know her closely, from a very close proximity will tell you that she is such a hard worker. She delivers. She will campaign from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Really?
Everybody is tired, very stressed. I mean, won't you eat? You know, she says, I'm fine. I mean, and many people were shocked at her work rate, particularly for her age. So, look, we know the asset we have.
The point is that
I have no doubt that
it didn't result in the NDC winning when it comes to the presidential votes, the central region, because she's on the ticket as running mate. And the impact, the presumption will be felt rather on the presidential side. But that did not happen.
So, apart from the fact that we increase our margins and then we move from 4 to 13 seats, if you are fair to Professor Naana Opoku Agyemang, you will acknowledge that the central region is a very complex swing region, to the extent that when we even presented a flag bearer, not a running mate, in the person of my own godfather and mentor, Professor John Mills, who discovered me and brought me into national prominence. Professor Mills did not have an easy time with his own people in the central region, in the 2000 election and in the 2004 election. It was the 2008 election that the people said, okay, we now want to give our own son a chance. So if you are very conversant with the central region, what Professor Naana Opoku Agyemang achieved is remarkable. That when she was introduced, our fortunes improved, both presidential and parliamentary. Even if we did not win the presidential, you do the trend analysis and you see how others have been, received. Take even under President Rawlings, the days of Corwin Kensen Aka, it still did not make the central region an NDC stronghold because we had Corwin Kensen Aka or because we had Emisa Atta. So there's quite a certain history about the central region where they don't really, easily warm up, just rally along because of identity politics. They don't do that. It takes time for them to assess you and to say, okay, we are going to consider you. So it's not one of those regions where you say that, oh, anytime somebody is picked from that region, everybody rallies. Make an impact. So if you put the region in proper context, you will argue that Professor Naana Opoku Agyemang did a great job. Is that
not the reason why perhaps a candidate from another region in the south have been proper? For example, from your home region, the Volta region, Tugbe Afede has actually been put up by some people. The suggestion has been that will rally more votes and push in more votes than having to rely on a region. You say it's swing, you say it's not really into identity politics. Is that not a very good reason why that would have been an alternative on the table?
It's a smart question, and I've heard many people make that argument. And let me say that, look, in this running mate contest, even though you don't really campaign for it, very fantastic names came up, and then the NDC remains a party with extraordinary talent. I must salute my own chief and former president of the National House of Chiefs, Tugbe Afede, who some people put his name forward very strongly. So very formidable choice. I'm not too sure if he will have abdicated to take up up the role. Then you have the likes of Dr. Nimoy Thompson, Dr. Spio Gabra, Leslie Tamaklo,
Julius Deborah, Kingsley Awadako, then others like Alex Modu, later on.
So many. So
Dr. Dufour also.
Yes, Dr. Dufour's name came up. So it tells you
but
that we are a mass party of extraordinary talent. So look.
But the question I'm asking you is,
yes, I'm coming to that question.
That she is coming from that particular constituency, swing in nature, and I agree perfectly.
Exactly.
Why would it not have been politically prudent to select somebody from an area that can push you more votes? Because the election is about votes.
Yes.
Primarily, more votes.
And that is why we are saying that, look, based on the history the antecedents of the central region, how it is so delicate and how it's not easy to, win their trust and get them to rally behind you. And yet, her first showing, see the results, from 4 to 13 seats, we reduced the margins for the presidential, even though we didn't win, at her first attempt. That tells us that, look, the people have, even gone beyond their traditional performance and have really warmed up to her. Do you want to risk taking somebody else from the region or from somewhere else? And you know that you can't win an election in this country without the swing regions. I mean, nobody has done that. If you want to win an election, you must go beyond your traditional stronghold. So it's not enough just saying, oh, I'll pick somebody from Volta region. You have to really look at the dynamics and have a candidate who shows promise and who is able to bring you votes from far afield, where you are not guaranteed any votes, because you cannot tell what the central region will do. And you see, the reason why I am excited about this choice is that you also don't want to create the impression that you have used and dumped somebody from the central region. Already, it's a very...
Why is that so?
It's a very delicate...
It has a history, we know that.
It's a very delicate...
In fact,
it's a very...
Mahama,
Yeah,
the likes of Martin Amidu have all been animates on the spot. We didn't tell them that they were used and dumped in times past.
I get you, but you see, you cannot control what your opponents will do.
Okay.
What your opponents will do. I mean, there are certain things that I saw when we went around campaigning in 2012. I was so disappointed about after the passing of Professor Mills.
Yeah.
What our opponents sought to do, with that. So look, I think that this is such a great decision. No matter how you look at it, no matter how you do the permutations, it's a fantastic choice. And it is for all of us now to rally behind this pair. Look, at the end of the day, I believe that what this country really needs now, at the top, integrity, restoring dignity to these high offices of president and vice, trust, confidence, truthfulness. Because, look, if you go out there and all the polling we have been doing, never has trust and confidence in politicians be so low. Right. It's really, really low. I mean, to the extent that people think that, look, these guys just come into politics, make all kinds of promises, and they don't care about us. They are there for themselves. They don't listen to us. So if you have a pair, and particularly President Mahama, who, everybody says that, look, we thought that President Mahama was a bad choice until we voted for the MPP. He's not smelling of roses. He's not like a saint. We never knew that,
they say that.
They say that. All over. If you look at the polls. And people are saying that, look, we want to do a Sankofa. We want to go back for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. So the presumption am really confident about
contesting this election on his own record.
Yes.
He does not really think that Professor Naana Opoku Agyemang is supposed to add more to it. Is that a presumption?
I haven't said that.
I get you, but...
I haven't said that.
But you mentioned words that he also used. In his tweets, he said, the former education minister, her integrity, dedication, and vision for a better Ghana make her the ideal candidate.
Yeah.
Why is that? Where is the evidence to back it anyway? The integrity and the vision, where is the evidence to back that?
You were one of the respected journalists we have in this country. Throughout her 4-year tenure from 2013 to 2017.
As minister?
Not a single scandal. Squeaky clean. Not one. She never printed Pasco for 68 million cedis. Never.
No, but
never engage in that.
But
never. She never.
That's purely out of people's education policy. It's not. What is scandalous about?
That's what is happening now. 8
people pass exams. That's what they think they're doing.
Have you seen the unit cost?
No.
Parliament is going to institute a probe. We have passed a resolution. We are going to probe that. It's so scandalous. At a time you are talking about digitalization. Under Professor Naana Opoku Agyemang, who didn't make a lot of noise about digitalization, you could just go online. You go online and you access your past questions.
Really, do I also?
Yes, it was online. I mean, what?
And how much did it cost you to put it up there?
At no cost.
To access it and put it up there?
No cost.
Really?
Go through all our budget. No cost. I mean, what is? You just instruct WAEC to make it available. That's all we did. We had an agency called SendLoss. That was their mandate.
SendLoss, yeah.
SendLoss, yes. That was their, I remember Mr. Mallet. He just uploads them. This is no rocket science. Why should we be spending 68 million on this? Then there is another mass set scandal, which up to now Parliament has been tracking. The mathematical sets they ordered have not arrived. You know, so look.
But that was before. Was it not before he became education minister? Was it not before the current education minister became education minister?
The master scandal.
Yes.
But it's happening under this MPP government.
Oh, okay. So
yes, that's the point I'm making. And I'm saying compare when Prof was at the Ministry of Education, it was as if as a Ministry of Education, look, she did major projects, e-blocks.
But they have compared your WASSCE results to their WASSCE results. They said that they've done extremely well compared to your WASSCE results.
Check her accomplishments. For 4 consecutive years, throughout the period, Ghana was adjudged the best WASSCE nation. The whole of, we are not even looking at just domestic Ghana results. The whole of West Africa, Ghana was adjudged the best. Look at some of her very groundbreaking initiatives. Before she became Minister of Education, you know that the BEC was a one-off. If you are not able to pass that, say that's the end of your future. She introduced the private BEC. And we had even kids in the Boston Institute, in prisons, who thought that they were out of the educational structure. They were able to come in. She abolished the shift system. Today we take it for granted. Nobody talks about shift system. Those going in the morning and those going in the afternoon. Rather, the shift system has come back in another guise they are calling double track at the secondary school level. When she abolished it at the basic school level.
But do they still do double track these days? I thought they were no longer.
No, they are still doing double track. They are still doing double track. Yes, SHS. Yes, as part of the free SHS program. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She abolished that. She pioneered the establishment of the University of Health and Allied Sciences, the University of Energy and Natural Resources. If you look at the funding that she negotiated from the World Bank for SIP, the Secondary Education Improvement Project, we saw that over 300,000 students benefited from a progressively free education program. If you look at how she upgraded,
free education.
She did progressively free, as Article 25(1)(c) of the Constitution joins us.
Free education.
It is progressively free education. Yes. So so she did a needs assessment, and those who were vulnerable, who really needed it, she made sure that they had it for free.
STEM too.
She did STEM.
Really?
Under SIP, yes. She resourced all the science resource centers. She re-equipped them, all of them. You can check, her record is there. Then, as part of her STEM initiatives, she had all the science and math teachers. They went through special training under the famous Professor Alote.
Okay, yeah.
They did the mathematics boot camp for them as part of the SIP. And then she also recruited over 3,000 maths and science teachers, fresh graduates from the universities, because she believed in STEM. I mean, this is somebody who's been an educationist all her life. Don't forget that she chairs the board for the Federation of African Educationists. She is the chancellor of the Women's University in Zimbabwe. I mean, she's a 2-term board member at UNESCO. So she breathes and dreams and eats and sleeps education. So her stellar performance, in education, right from becoming the first female vice chancellor of a public university, all the way to the impressive, development. Look, under her watch, we were able to see all our teachers. Immediately they graduate, they are automatically posted. She didn't put impediments in their way. There was no national service. There was no licensure exams. She made sure she abolished the quota system because it was militating against quality. Because of quota system, you have only few trained teachers in the public basic schools. She abolished the quota system, and enrollment shot up from 9,000 to 15,400 at the colleges of education. In addition to that, she made sure that she increased the student loan from 650 to 2,000 cedis by the time she was leaving. So this is a woman who's done so well. Look, throughout her period, you never heard that there's been a new curriculum and they don't have textbooks. She improved the textbook to pupil ratio. When she became Minister of Education, 3 school pupils had to share 1 textbook. By the time she was leaving, every child had 4 textbooks, including a dictionary. And I was surprised when they told us that, look, the last time anybody bought a dictionary for school pupils was like 30 years ago. You know, so she did so much for education. If you look at her infrastructure projects across, look, people don't even give her credit. When COVID came, all those institutions, the West Africa Center for pathogens and all of that.
But how's that got to do with her?
She negotiated the funding from the World Bank to establish that institute at the University of Ghana as a center of excellence. Many people don't give her credit because she's not one to, be arrogant, to beat her chest,
time ago,
and to be bragging.
You put out 41 achievements of Prof. So I know that you are more likely to do so.
Yes.
But the question I was asking is, how do you put evidence to she has integrity? What's the evidence to back it? So it's not just, I believe she has, so we should take it that she has integrity.
It's not about belief. I've worked closely with her. And I've just told you how throughout her period, you dare not attempt to induce her. You dare not. She'll call the police. You dare not. She doesn't dabble in all these kickbacks, inflating contracts. She's not interested. Did you ever hear that there was any single source scandal? Check the E-blocks, all the projects. She tells the procurement unit, open it up. Let it be competitive. Let the best bidders win with the best prizes. She doesn't get involved. Look, she hasn't come this far. A first in many things. First female vice chancellor of a public university. First leader of Afriyie. First chancellor of the Women's University in Zimbabwe. Only to come and tarnish her image. So this is somebody with such an impeccable track record. Okay. And it is not just...
let's talk the vision.
Puffing and huffing. It is real. It is concrete. She has never been indicted. Check all the audit reports under her watch. Not once. If there's any politician in this country who is so squeaky clean, then you are talking about Professor Naana Opoku Agyemang.
What's the vision part the former president was referring to? The vision for a better Ghana. What is that vision? Where is that vision written?
Really, if you look at...
as a party, she would certainly be riding on the party's manifesto and the collective vision of John Mahama and every other person, every other issue that they have raised up till now, that she have her own vision. Is she going to later on tell us that she was just a mate and not a driver, and that we should give her the opportunity to actually deliver her own vision in Thai's part? So this vision reference, exactly what is talking about?
Ray is always a smart interviewer. So let's be clear. There's always going to be the vision of the platform, which is driven by the leader of the party, the flag bearer. You are to complement. You cannot outshine your boss. You are not even going to be on the ticket, really, if you look at how the ballot papers are designed. People are going to vote for the flag bearer. However, you must have some personal attributes. You must have some qualities. You must come to the table, come to the party with some gravitas, with some accomplishments. And that is what President Mahama is inspired about, and saying that, look, when you really assess this woman, you look at all the positions she has occupied, she leaves the place better. Look at UCC, became an award-winning, global center of excellence under her watch. They rolled out the medical school. Many people thought it was impossible. She did it, Ministry of Education, when people thought that, look, these E-blocks wouldn't happen, people thought that it wouldn't be possible to have a public university in every region, she executed it, So she clearly has a vision of her own she's patriotic, she has integrity, she has love for country. And that's what you need to complement. So yes, it will be the vision of the flag bearer. But one thing I can assure you, the Professor Naana Opoku Agyemang I know, she does not exhibit disloyalty. She is not one who will say, as for our shortcomings, as for our failures, it's the driver, blame the driver, I was only a mate. She is one who will take everything, both the good and the bad. She will be loyal to a fault. We are in this together. We either stay afloat together or we sink together. That's the person you will get. So I can assure you that she will be more of a co-pilot, not a mate. She will carry out her delegated responsibilities with distinction, and she will be ready to exhibit utmost loyalty. She is not going to throw her boss under the bus.
That's an interesting development because of the parts that referenced her own vision. I want to ask this question. Is she interested in running for president after President John Mahama?
To be honest with you, she's never had that discussion with me. She doesn't come across to me as somebody who is an ambitious person who is all about herself and she thinks that she's the best thing to happen to the planet Earth. I really do get the impression that she is more of a team player. What the team wants. I mean, will you believe if I am to tell you that she never lobbied for this job? To be running mate. The first one, this second one.
Really?
She never lobbied.
So all the people who were saying that she should be given it, they were saying on their own.
On their own.
Not for once.
She's not for once. Look, I'm very close. I'm very close to her.
Maybe she will not do it personally, but some of you will be doing so on her behalf.
She will not. She's not that. Look, she believes that, look, what is yours will come to you. And when you are part of a team, don't raise yourself. Don't be arrogant. Don't think that if you are not in the driver's seat, then nobody can do it.
Is she willing
she's a team
to be
player.
President after President Mahama?
I wouldn't know. I haven't had this discussion with her. It's never come up. I've told you that she's focused on the now, making sure we win 2024. Is all about the victory of the NDC to rescue this country from the shackles of poverty, of despondency, of underdevelopment, of total, frustration that everybody is feeling.
Do you think she'll be a perfect candidate to replace President Mahama after the first 4 years if he wins?
I honestly think that you are inviting me to engage in premature ejaculation.
No, but is that not one of the reasons you considered for choosing her for this particular position?
I didn't choose
political
her.
Party.
I didn't choose her.
I'm saying the party in general, and I'm sure you were key to the decision-making process.
You always have a way of getting the right people to answer your questions. I'm sure we can arrange for you to interview former President Mahama. And he will tell you
this question is simple.
What were his considerations?
As a party, because he met the party leadership on a different level, did it never come up that you need a candidate who could be president after President Mahama?
I'm not a member of the Council of Elders and I'm not a member of NEC, so I don't know what
you're not aware that any such conversation came up?
Not aware.
To your mind, is it a very important issue to consider in choosing a running mate now? And in choosing Prof, was it considered?
To be very honest with you, I don't think that it is relevant. Look, if you don't win 2024, there's no 2028. And then if you don't perform well, see what is happening now in our opponent's party, where everybody is running away from the disastrous Akufo-Addo. Even his running mate says, I was only a mate, please don't blame me. You've heard the general secretary say that, it is some non-performing ministers, blame them. You heard the organizer saying that, look, e-levy, we don't support it, it's making our campaign difficult. Just blame Akufo-Addo, it's not the party. Everybody is running away from Akufo-Addo. He now, cuts a very lowly image, as though, he's become a pariah. So, look, for us in the NDC, the focus is on 2024. Okay. And I believe that if we do well, it wouldn't matter. Look, in any case, if you take the recent history of our country, the running mate to President Kwadwo contested John Mahama. He was not even in the top 3, was he?
Yes.
You know, and
Bawumia became the candidate.
Yes,
of the NPP.
and so yes, so it tells you that these things is not automatic.
No, I get that.
It's not a given. So look, it's about doing well, performing, and when you perform, anybody can come from anywhere. It can be your vice, it can be a minister, it can be even an ordinary member of the party who will have a future.
So now she's selected. What's she going to do from now onwards?
So normally when the announcement is made, she's also put out her acceptance statement. A very beautiful acceptance statement. I was reading it on my way here. And then we'll wait for the outdooring where she will make her speech, the running mate speech. And I think that 4 years ago, many people remember her for a very spectacular outing. I mean, her speech resonated, particularly amongst young ladies. And those of us who have daughters, we know how our girls were so inspired when we got back home and they were telling us how they felt, seeing the first female running mate of a major political party. So I have no doubt that her speech is going to be, a very resounding, inspirational one that will be impassioned and will rally, the troops towards delivering victory on the 7th of December 2024. So that's what you need to expect immediately, that outdooring ceremony. Then after that, she'll hit the ground running. I expect her to really, the last time the criticism was that she was named a bit too late. So it came June, July. Yeah. She didn't have much time to go around. This has happened quite in good time. We are ahead of our major opponents. And I'm hoping that it would count for much, that she would really hit the ground running and be able to rally, and particularly female voters. Look, don't underestimate the impact of this. I mean, already women are in the majority, and she continues to break the glass ceiling. So don't underestimate the impact of this. Even just the announcement, seeing her in the field,
but she's not
rallying women.
She's not new to this particular slate. It's not the first time they have actually appointed her. She's retaining that position.
Yes, but I'm saying
she's been there before.
Yes, and it all adds to it.
And she couldn't help the NDC win 2020.
She's making history to be the first woman for a major political party and the first woman to be retained. So all of this is going to add some fresh impetus. And if initially some people were not too sure what to expect, they've now really known her. Because remember, she was in academia for many years, not out there as a public figure, became Minister of Education. Then, she was thrust onto the national stage. The
NPP says they are on phase by her appointment. I heard Naana Opoku say that, well, we know her, we know what she brought on board previously, so it wouldn't be surprising. It wouldn't be something that would actually throw us off. We have to find an answer to it. We know the antidote to Prof Naana Opoku Agyemang. You agree?
I'm not expecting anything different from major opponents. You will expect that they will try to make light the announcement. But certainly when they go behind the scenes into the engine room, they will they'll really be taking this nomination seriously. But look, at the end of the day, I think that nobody can take it away from Prof that she is distinguished, she is accomplished, she is an achiever, she has served her country well, and she is poised for even more historic, services for her country. And I know that she's going to inspire so many people, and that will bring us the victory that we need.
Perhaps I could switch up to another conversation since we have still some time left on this particular one. Now, just yesterday, you and some colleagues of yours on a holiday, sneaked up to the National Cathedral site with some intention to cut sword, or I don't know if it's symbolic, or you were mocking the entire project. You were a bit of a heckled by some people, but you ended up doing a press conference. Was it all that necessary? Everybody in this republic knows that this has become a problem and that we have not been as successful as we wanted to be from the day the finance minister mentioned it. What was it necessary that you appear there?
Yes, so first of all, we didn't sneak. I put out a flyer, made a major announcement that on the day that President Akufo-Addo and the Finance Minister, former Ken Ofori-Atta, announced to Parliament that they will be commissioning what the President described as his priority of priorities, his $450 million cathedral project, 6 March 2024. We thought that that day should not pass, particularly as all the questions we have been asking about accountability have not been answered. How is it that $58.1 million can be spent on what now has become the world's most expensive pit? $58.1 million. And this $58.1 million does not include the hundreds of millions of dollars we are going to spend on compensating the owners of the demolished properties. Do you know the Malian ambassador's residence was demolished?
Okay.
He has only now recently, very recently, been shown land at airport residential area. You know the cost of land at airport residential area.
Very expensive.
And we have to replace the residence for him. The Judicial Training Institute, which was demolished as well on the orders of the president. The former Chief Justice, I saw his designs and his replacement budget. $50 million is what it's going to cost us to replace the Judicial Training Institute. The judges' bungalows, which were demolished, already we're spending so much money on accommodation for these judges and building new houses for them. Passport office was demolished.
The old one, yeah.
We had to spend 10 million cedis building a new one for them. Scholarship Secretariat demolished. Bungalows for Shraj. Then Comsys IT firm, they have only recently been relocated at Labone. You know the cost. Then Waterstone Realty apartment complex, it was a luxury apartment complex, demolished, razed to the ground. They are in court demanding compensation. So this $58.1 million does not include all of this. I mean, it's just a moment of madness. And you wonder, look, when you read Bishop Dakeward Mills's resignation letter, he says that the board of trustees did not have a hand in the location. They didn't have a hand in the choice of architect. They didn't have a hand in the demolitions. So they suspect that there is a cabal somewhere that takes a real decision. And they were just a smoke screen. You have seen the resignation letters of Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams and Reverend Isudanaba saying that they demanded an audit. They were not getting the audit. And so they had to leave. Look, as we speak, on the 24th of January last year, it's been more than a year, the National Cathedral Secretariat put out a statement saying that they have invited Deloitte to audit them and that they will publish the audit. Up to now, the information we have, and a few days ago, Bryce Simmons confirmed saying that the audit report is so damning that they've sat on it. So one of the 13 demands we made at the press engagement at the world's most expensive pit is that we want that audit report published. We are also demanding an immediate dissolution of the board. We are demanding a shutdown of the secretariat. My brother, if you look at the organogram of this National Cathedral Secretariat, it's a really complex one. I have a copy here. There's a board of trustees. Then there's board secretary, executive director. Then there are consultants, secretary. Then it comes all the way to an office manager. Then you have those who are at the admin and finance, construction, operations, cathedral church affairs, museums, communications. Then the secretarial staff, volunteers, interns, national service personnel. A very humongous structure. So far, 225 million cedis without parliamentary approval has been given to this secretariat. It is a tax guzzler. We are saying that it should be shut down because for 2 years, look.
Is that so? If we shut it down, what happens to that huge pit?
Yes, so if we shut it down, we'll save money on paying all of these people in this organogram. We'll save money, we'll stop the hemorrhage. We will also then make sure that the contract is terminated. Do you know that as the contractor, Ribade JV, has not been on site for 2 years? We are incurring costs. It's such a bad contract. I have a copy here.
I get you. And the question is, what do we do with the pit?
So that was the 13th point we made in our demand list. We are asking for a national debate. We acknowledge what TUC proposed recently, that let's have a hospital there. Some have also suggested let's have a modern pediatrics center for our children, because we don't have one in Ghana. We think that that would be more pleasing to the Lord. Look, if you see how cost has escalated, it started at $100 million, it's now at $450 million. Now with inflation and all of that, and with the kind of contract they signed and all the accruals that has come about because of this contract, there is no way that project will be $450 million. I'm sure by now it's doubled. So the way to go is to just end this. This is a failed, disastrous project which people will have to answer. People will have to be prosecuted for causing financial loss to the state. And we are going to insist. And my party members know, I have made that point very clear. If we come back to power, and I know that on the 7th of January 2025, His Excellency John Mahama will be sworn in. If we come back to power, we are sworn in, and people are not prosecuted, people are not made to answer for this mess causing financial loss to the state, you are going to hear from some of us. We cannot continue to be part of the team. So, look.
No, you made the point, but my last question to you, because the time is almost up. Last question is on, finally, the president spoke about your constituency and other places where they are victims of the dam spillage. Are you satisfied now? He said money has been released to the people.
I did criticize the president when in his message on the State of the Nation address, he refused to speak and totally ignored us and didn't talk about our plight at all. Now in his 6-March address, he has touched on our plight. So the U-turn is welcome. However, the content of that U-turn is problematic. He says that 80 million has so far been released. He doesn't tell us when and for what. It came to me as a surprise, and I can tell you, chiefs are calling me, my constituents are calling, 80 million? What has it been used for? Because all the housing so far, the 600 people we have housed, they are in houses that were my initiatives, that I spearheaded. Talking to Corporate Ghana, First Sky Group, and all of these individuals, benevolent Ghanaians who came to our aid. The government itself has not started any fiscal construction. Not a block, not a foundation, not a pit. People are still living in tents. Nobody has received compensation. So I'm filing an urgent question to know from the Minister of Finance, released to who? Where did that money go to, the 80 million? Okay. So that we get to know and we can track. But it came to us as a surprise, real big surprise.
Well, that should be interesting. I mean, of course, we wait for the answers to your question, but have you asked the relevant institutions around the place, like NADMO, like the VRA, who actually operates on the ground? Yes, I've been asking, including the Assembly. I've been asking everybody. And they cannot trace the money too? Or they know of the whereabouts of the money? Everybody had the announcement for the first time. And we were equally shocked about it? Yes. Well, Honorable, I am grateful to you for your time this evening. It's a government of wonders. Well, we shall be getting some more details on it. And, I understand that there's a lot of talk in Parliament, too, about what's happening going into the future. So are you going to be following Prof Naana Opoku Agyemang around, or you still be doing parliamentary duties alongside that? I'm always good at multitasking. Are you now officially her special aide, because you have been championing her cause for a very long time? We'll leave that to her to determine. I am most grateful to you for your time once again. The Honourable Member of Parliament for Northern is the Member of Parliament and ranking on the Foreign Affairs Committee in Ghana's Parliament. Sometimes he's an investigative MP doing oversight work. Other times he's chasing men of God who are, of course, and the government people who are attempting to build a cathedral. And mostly he's a Member of Parliament who is championing the cause of a running mate who has been elected today. Many thanks to you for watching us on today's edition of All for God and Country. Yes. Thank you once again for joining us on our front. And thank you once again, Honorable too.